so
That's why you should be in
just need to
prison.
shake him.
You should be in prison. We bailed you out. We bailed you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison. You facing charges.
All right, welcome to the final third, Champions League review. We had 4 ties this week. Juve crashed out yesterday to Porto. We had Dortmund going through to against Sevilla. Liverpool through against Leipzig, and of course Barcelona, the mighty Barcelona, fallen Barcelona, fell to the sword against PSG. First of all, I just want to welcome.
Try to run back.
Try to run it back. Not today. Not today. I just want to welcome Zach Lowry onto the show from Breaking the Lines. Pleasure to have you on.
Thanks so much for having me on.
I want to say, man, I've been following you for a couple of years now. Still, I really enjoy your content, man. So it's great to have you on and just to chat with you, man.
Funny thing is, we even had your we had your partner on Thomas on earlier in the season during the Chelsea review.
Yeah, Thomas.
So nice.
Yeah, Thomas.
Nice to get that link up going, man.
Yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, Thomas is awesome. So I'm glad you guys got to talk with him. Yeah,
it's a pleasure to have you on. All right, I guess we'll start with firstly, since you've got the Barca kit on, you know, you might as well start there. Barcelona versus PSG. Obviously today it was a brilliant performance from Barcelona, but quite wasteful. Just wanted to ask. I'll start with you, Zach. Why didn't we see that Barcelona in the first leg?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think it was completely night and day. I thought that going into the match, I thought that Barcelona were going to win the second leg, but still end up having like a 2 with PSG going through with like a 2-goal, maybe even a 3-goal advantage, and it ended up not happening for them. But there's definitely a lot that Barcelona can be proud of from that performance. I think in general, when you take a look at that performance and their form after that, it's pretty much night and day. I mean, Barcelona have been on a pretty hot run of form. And there's even an argument to be made that going out of the Champions League early will help them in that, there won't be as much fixture congestion. Obviously, they still need to play the Copa del Rey final. But I think that, I mean, if Atletico end up going through and turning it around against Chelsea, then Atletico are going to have to manage, playing twice a week, whereas Barcelona will only have to deal with La Liga. But yeah, as you mentioned, I mean, Barcelona really didn't do themselves any favors in the first leg when you put in a performance like that and just basically get torn to shreds on the counter by Mbappe and just get completely outplayed. It's just hard to turn it around, even on a day like today when Barcelona were definitely the superior side. It's just very hard to do that against a team with PSG's quality. Even without Neymar, they still had that threat of Mbappe on the counter, who had a bit of an off day in terms of finishing. Could have definitely had a few more goals than just his penalty. And I think in general, Pochettino also, I don't think he did himself well in the first half. I think that he got it wrong in terms of his setup, in terms of his shape, which allowed Barcelona to have a lot of opportunities. Again, Barcelona didn't do themselves any favors with their finishing either. And I think that Pochettino in general, I guess, corrected some of those mistakes. He brought on a few players, Abdou Diallo, and I think changed the formation, made Verratti go a little more centrally, is what I noticed. And also I also noticed that he made Mbappe track back a bit more. I think that despite the initial mess ups by Pochettino, he pretty much righted the script. On the other hand, if we go back like 2 or 3 years and PSG have, no disrespect, but a Buffon, a Trapp, and Arbeloa in goal instead of Keylor Navas, this might be a completely different story. I mean, Barcelona
Keylor
had
Navas was
a
big.
ton
It
of
was
chances that they could have converted. And frankly, the best player on the pitch was Keylor Navas. He made that difference. Even at 35 years of age, he's still so decisive. And I mean, he's the reason why they came out with only conceding once and with a draw. So in general, I think there's some positives for Barcelona to take from this. Just it sounds weird given the fact that this is the first time since I think 2005 that Barcelona have not made it past the round of 16. But this it sort of feels like the first time in a while that Barcelona have not been like completely humiliated in their final Champions League match. Because we saw that obviously against Bayern last year. Saw that against Liverpool, Roma, Juventus. So this is the first time in probably since maybe since 2015 where there's actually a bit of pride and a bit of optimism that Barcelona fans can take after this elimination.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely. I definitely hear I'm hearing the first half, the fact that Barcelona played very well and probably deserved 1, 2, maybe even 3 goals if finishing was on their side that day. The way you lot pressed PSG and made them make mistakes is like light and day from the first leg, where you essentially just let them. Once PSG got through the first press of yours, it was a free run towards you lot's goal. So in comparison to the first leg, you lot played in the first half at least very well. And yeah, there could be some, like, for me after the first leg, I was thinking, where do Barcelona actually go from here? Like, you lot actually looked in the dumps, and I was thinking, where do the shoots of recovery actually come from? But you see in the second leg, Pedri's playing well. Dembele, if he could find some shooting boots, I don't know if he's gonna stay long term at Barcelona. But completely wasteful. Frankie de Jong had a great game. Sergio Dest, the way he got mauled in the first leg by Mbappe, second leg, he looked very impressive at right back. So there's shoots. I still think that the big thing is Messi going to stay or leave? Is he really committed to doing a little rebuild at Barcelona? That's the big thing for you lot to solve right now. Obviously, the huge money problems that you've got, that's another big thing. But there's shoots compared to what you're seeing earlier in the season where you're thinking, once Messi inevitably goes, where's the recovery going to come from? But yeah, there was definitely signs there. There was definitely shoots of recovery there for Barcelona.
Spoke on Messi and obviously is he gonna stay or go? We can focus obviously on today. He scored a sensational goal, and then he missed the penalty, which then coincided with Mbappe scoring a penalty up the other end. So I just wanted to ask you, starting with you, Banks, with that happening and then the first leg where Mbappe scored a hat-trick, did this tie feel like kind of like a changing of the guard?
The whole round felt like a changing of the like, you've literally got Haaland and Mbappe knocking out the likes of, like, okay, obviously Haaland did a knockout Ronaldo, but like literally Ronaldo having zero impact in his tie. Messi, although he played well and got a goal in this tie, essentially got knocked out by Mbappe. Haaland is like, you don't want it to, like, you don't want it to have to be a competition between Mbappe and Haaland, but that's what it feels like the natural next step is. Like, you see Messi and Ronaldo. This is the first time since 2005 that Messi and Ronaldo aren't going to be, either one of them aren't going to be in the quarterfinals. This is like, Messi and Ronaldo is all we know for more than a decade, almost 2 decades now. And that's coming to an end. Like, it has to happen at some point. Father Time undefeated, as we all know. And the way that Mbappe and, like, I see Haaland yesterday, the way, like, the ferociousness, the killer instinct, it's just like, it just feels natural to give it to them now. Like, they're young players coming into another stage of their career where they could possibly go on to a greater height. It just feels natural, like, to give it to them. Messi and Ronaldo, you've had your time, but right now the clubs that you're at, you're not going to be successful at these clubs right now. They're not good enough right now to be challenging at the top with the rest of these teams. So it's only natural, it feels, to give the reins to these young bucks.
Would you agree with that, Zach?
I mean, I think that the fact that both these players, both these teams were eliminated, in the round of 16 for the first time since 2005, neither player going to be playing in the quarterfinals for the first time since in 16 years. I don't think that fact says that they're finished, right? I think it's more their performances, which I think does suggest a changing the guard. If Porto, if Juventus and Barcelona were to be eliminated with Messi and Ronaldo, playing like they had been for, in 2018, 2016, 2017, that we've pretty much grown up with, I'm not sure if you'd be able to say it's a changing guard. But the fact that Ronaldo had pretty much got outperformed by Federico Chiesa over 2 legs, a younger player, whereas Messi, he did have that great goal, but and he did have that penalty saved. But in general, I don't think he was anywhere close to the best player on the pitch today. He really wasn't making that heroic Superman-like performance that we've become used to at Barcelona. So, and I think that even despite Ousmane's finishing woes, despite his really inconsistent second half, I thought he was probably Barcelona's most dangerous attacker on the day. So in both those cases, 2 people who are pretty much used to just coming alive in every single one of these, big occasions, they got outperformed by younger guys. And that's just something we're not really used to. So I don't think that, I think Messi and Ronaldo are still 2 of the best players in Europe. I think Messi, if out of those 2, I would say that Messi has a stronger argument right now for being the best player in the world. But it's definitely not like, in the past 10 years or so, it was Messi and Ronaldo at the top. And then, 10 miles down,
it's steep fall.
It's like Hazard, to the next Neymar, and Griezmann, Now it's a lot more clustered at the top. There's definitely not that gap like there once was. And we've seen that not just in Europe, but in La Liga and Serie A this season. So I definitely think you could make the case that, maybe it's not the changing of the guard and that these 2 guys are, like not world class anymore. Because I think on their day, and Messi has arguably been the best player in La Liga this season. I think that the fact is they don't have that gap like they once did.
They're not where they used to be.
I think, I remember speaking with a journalist, a Spanish journalist back in like 2018 from Madrid, and he said something that always stuck with me, like Lionel Messi from 2008 to 2015, I think was what he said, is the greatest player of all time. Lionel Messi from 2015 to 2020 is the greatest player today. There's a difference, So Messi clearly isn't as unstoppable as he once was. Neither was Ronaldo. And when you look at players such as Haaland, such as Mbappe, even guys who aren't that young, such as, Lewandowski making the difference, it's just, it does feel a bit like a changing of the guard in that they are just no longer on that insurmountable peak like they once were for so long.
You can't give them the game no more and expect them to change it by themselves. Like, you can't expect them to take a big tie in the Champions League and think Ronaldo's going to get me. Before you could think Ronaldo is going to get me out of this hole, Messi could get me out. Not anymore. Like, you looked at, and as you said, Chiesa was carrying him. Chiesa and Cuadrado were the one carrying the fight for Juventus. I see Ronaldo on the wing trying to do step over. I was just like,
we'll get on to Juve in a second. I just wanted to say quickly. So me and Banks, we talk a lot, you see, and we talk about Messi and Ronaldo, and he says, he thinks it's time for them to go and leave Europe. And I say, I'm not sure about Ronaldo, but I definitely feel like Messi can at least be supporting cast with a big team, like a PSG, for example, being a supporting cast to Mbappe and Neymar. I just wanted to ask, do you think this is the last time we're going to see Messi in a Barcelona kit? And if we do, if it is, rather, do you think he's staying in Europe?
Do I think he'll stay in Europe? Absolutely, I think he'll stay in Europe. I mean, he's still one of the best players, if not the best player in the world. So it just really wouldn't make sense for him to go to, Argentina or Qatar or MLS. I know that's been a possible destination. I don't think that would make any sense. If he does leave
Knock it until you try it, man.
Barcelona, what?
I said he shouldn't knock it until he tries it. Him and Ronaldo and MLS together, they could do something crazy for that league over there, man.
If Ronaldo comes to the U.S., he's getting some handcuffs the first time he steps on.
Facts.
No disrespect. That's just the fact.
Hey, that's the facts. That's the Fendi facts.
That's just
I can't
fact.
lie.
No agenda.
I forgot that fact. I forgot. I can't. Ronaldo's going to Qatar or something, but they got no regulations. I can't lie. He's going to Qatar, but they won't care.
So if Messi does leave Barcelona on a free transfer this season, I expect it to be either PSG or Manchester City. I mean, this is an unprecedented time we're living in with COVID and the economic repercussions. And those two teams are basically, run by oil countries. So they're two teams in a very unique situation that they can pretty much splurge whatever they want. Especially given the fact that, in City's case, they could possibly get rid of Aguero. I think that if Messi does come, they'll probably want them to stay. Likewise with PSG renewing Di Maria's contract. But if that is a potential, if they want to, free up space in the wage bill. But I think that if Messi does leave, it'll be for either PSG or City. And frankly, it would be hard to blame him, because when you look at how dominant City has been this season, yes, there obviously are some questions over whether they can hack it in Europe, but I think they're definitely a better side than Barcelona right now. And with Pep Guardiola and with all these players surrounding him, I think there's definitely an argument to be made that they're closer to winning the Champions League than Barcelona are. Even especially when you look at the state of their squads, they do have some players like Fernandinho, who are getting up there in age, but he's basically been reduced to a backup role at this point as well. Whereas Barcelona are relying on a lot of players such as Jordi Alba, Piqué, Sergio Busquets to stay fit. So I do think that it's a much better squad. And I mean, PSG, I think that the potential to reunite with Neymar and play alongside Mbappe, as well as players such as Moise Kean, Angel Di Maria, that would be an incredible attack. So I think that if I had to make a decision, it's hard to say. I think I'd be leaning towards Messi staying at this point, just because I think that his loyalty to Barcelona, as well as his relationship with Joan Laporta, will convince him to stay. But honestly, I have no clue. It's a 50-50 for me. Ronaldo, on the other hand, I mean, he has 1 year remaining of his contract. I'm not sure.
Like Juve don't want him. Sounded like Juve don't want him. I said it sounded like Juve don't want him no more.
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, but the thing is, it's Ronaldo. So, one, who is going to pay Ronaldo's wages? Two, who's going to pay what Juve will likely demand for them, considering the fact that they paid, 100 million for him 3-4 years ago. So they're going to be demanding a lot for a player who I believe is 36 now, going to be and clearly declining. So I'm just not sure if what team is going to I guess offer what the economic structure that it would take to bring in Ronaldo. Yeah. Maybe PSG if they miss out on Messi. I think that could be an option. They've obviously been linked in the past. But yeah, my gut would definitely be towards both Messi and Ronaldo remaining in Europe, at least until the Qatar World Cup. And then, that might be the last dance for both. Who knows? But yeah, I think that Ronaldo, I think he will end up staying at Juve, just because I don't think that any team is going to come close to what Juve are demanding for him, as well as his wage situation. And that's been a problem for a lot of lesser players, such as Gonzalo Higuain, Blaise Matuidi, players who clearly doing worse than Ronaldo, and who Juve were actively trying to get rid of. I'm not sure if Juve are trying to get rid of Ronaldo, because there is still that argument to be made that he is their most dangerous attacker, and he is probably the thing that links them closest to potential Champions League. But we can talk about that later.
Yeah, let's talk about Juve then. Let's talk about Juve. So they lost to Porto, which means that in the 3 years that Ronaldo's been there, they've lost to Ajax. They've lost in the quarterfinals. They lost to Lyon in the last 16, and they lost to Porto in the last 16. Ronaldo was signed for 100 million with the sole purpose of bringing the Champions League to Juve. Has his transfer been a failure? I'll start with you, Banks.
I mean, it's hard not to say it's been a failure, because Juve were winning Serie A after Serie A, sort of in a similar manner to the likes of Bayern Munich, where they were just running through Serie A. Like, there was no real competition. Teams would put up a fight from the head, but you knew eventually it'd go back to Turin. But they could never really get over the hurdle of the Champions League. You see, even Ronaldo knocking out Juventus in the final minute in 2018. So they could never really get over that hump. So signing Ronaldo was clearly like, we need this marquee. We need the Mr. Champions League to get us over the hump. But although, of course, they brought him in for those performances, and of course, although sparingly, we saw with the Atletico tie, and we saw in the Lyon tie as well, he scored as well, but they got knocked out. It hasn't really happened for them. The squad that they've had has got progressively worse. Like, we can't discount the fact that the squad that he joined with, there was some quality players there, but now you got a rookie manager, and you've got a squad of players that right now just doesn't really cut it. We've got Alvaro Morata, who is a good player, but has gone places and has failed before. He has not really shone up the place. Then you've got guys like Chiesa, who obviously good young player, but again, it's not like
It's not
Juventus has had quality players
Benzema.
before. It's not.
Yeah.
You've seen the players that Ronaldo's played with before, and you see the squad that in 2021 Juventus are playing with now. It's not the same quality of squad when he arrived. So although you've got to put some of the blame on Ronaldo, because again, you brought him in here for the big trophies, for the big ears. The squad planning, the general manager of Juventus, and the management of Juventus. He went from Allegri to Sarri to now Pirlo. It's been a bit of a shambles while he's been there.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I want to make a distinction. I don't think it was a mistake to sign Cristiano Ronaldo. I 100%. Do think that if Juve, if Juve end this Ronaldo experiment without a Champions League trophy, of course it's a failure. I mean, I'm not sure how you could argue otherwise. Juventus paid, 100 million euros, I believe, and giving Ronaldo, I think a 31 million euro annual salary, with the explicit purpose of winning a Champions League, of ending that, what has it been now, 25 years without a Champions League trophy. I think that it wasn't a mistake, because, I mean, when you look back to that moment, the origin of it in the summer of 2018, Juventus had just been to 2 finals in the past 3 years, and had nearly come close to the Champions League final, but were eliminated by Ronaldo, just being Ronaldo. And when they saw that opportunity, they took it. They took a chance on it. And when you're a businessman, that's what you do. You take risks on things that will help lead you to your ultimate goal. So that's a decision that was made not just with Giuseppe Marotta, not just Fabio Paratici, but with Andrea Agnelli and Maximiliano Allegri as well. And I think that given the fact that he is the Champions League's top goal scorer of all time, given the fact that really he is Mr. Champions League, I don't think you can fault them for that. Even if it doesn't work out, I think you can't fault them for trying. However, you don't pay Ronaldo 31 million euros a year. You don't pay him. You don't mess up your entire wage bill, which, up until that point had been so carefully constructed in order to be sustainable, in order to allow them to be flexible in the market. You don't mess all that up just to beat Crotone and Sampdoria and win 2 Scudetti and then lose the next one to Inter. Like that's completely a failure. So I think that Ronaldo will stay one more year, as I previously mentioned, because I don't think that anybody's going to be willing to offer what Juve are demanding in these COVID times. So we still have one more year. I think we still will have one more year for that potential. But if they get knocked out in the round of 16, if they get knocked out in the semifinals, if they get knocked out in the final, the Ronaldo experiment is, of course, a failure. And it's not to say that it was a mistake, but you buy Ronaldo and you make those financial sacrifices to win the Champions League. If Ronaldo can't bring you closer to that goal, and in this case, we've seen how the Juventus squad have progressively gotten worse since that Ronaldo deal. Of course, it's a failure. I mean, and I don't want to say that Ronaldo hadn't played a big role in the games against Ajax and Atletico Madrid, because of course he did. But it's not a coincidence that Juve's squad has gotten progressively worse since the Ronaldo deal, and a bit because of the De Ligt deal, but mostly to Ronaldo. You have to sacrifice a lot and shed a lot of pounds in order to make that fit. Selling Joao Cancelo and for what 35 million and bringing Danilo as a cash swap. It's not like they wanted to do that. It's because that frankly nobody else was going to be buying their high earners such as Blaise Matuidi or Gonzalo Higuain. He was one of the few players who had resale value and who was an attractive asset. And so they realized that they were going to be, in a ton of pressure under financial fair play. And so they had to sell him and take Danilo with him. And it's pretty much blown up in their face. So you can't say that it was a coincidence. You make that sacrifice, not just paying Ronaldo's wages, but making adjustments to your squad to fit the massive investment for Ronaldo.
Okay, we've got 5 more minutes, so I'm going to speed through the rest of this agenda. Quickly, Zach, I know you watch a lot of Portuguese football. 2-part question. Porto are 3rd in Portugal, so they haven't been at their best this season. How were they able to manage to win this tie? And second part of the question, Pepe, 38 years old. What a performance. How did he pull it off? Well,
first of all, I think that Porto, it's a bit of a conundrum but I think it says a lot about Sergio Conceição's ability to get his squad motivated, brushing off the embarrassment of that elimination to 10-man Braga in the semifinals of the Taça de Portugal and getting them prepared for Juventus and making them, prevail even with 10 men, even after the Mediterranean expulsion. You have to give a ton of credit to him, as well as just that team is full of leaders. I mean, people who are not just individual leaders, but are fully dedicated to Conceição's strategy and Conceição's plan. Players like Marquezine, Tecatito, Sergio Oliveira. I'm not going to say all, but I think that probably the best performer on that night was Pepe, who showed why he is one of the greatest center backs, maybe not even of his generation, but of all time. I mean, he completely rolled back the years, showing athleticism and just composure under pressure that was just unbelievable for a player at 38 years of age. I mean, I know we shouldn't be surprised at this point, given the fact that he was the best player in the Euros at, 34 years of age, 33. And So we shouldn't be used to it. We shouldn't be surprised by it. But it's just still incredible going up against, you know, a team with the greater momentum, with 11 men, with players such as Chiesa, Ronaldo, Morata, to be able to consistently lead not only younger players such as Manafa and Mbemba and Zaidu Sanusi, but to consistently, you know, not lose concentration and make just an incredible amount of interventions. I think even at like, what was it, the 123rd minute, he was still making just these last ditch tackles. It was one of the greatest center back displays I've ever seen in my life. So a massive credit goes to Sergio Conceição for keeping these guys motivated and dedicated to the plan. And you know, they're going to be a tough team to face for whoever ends up drawing them in the quarterfinals.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add to that. It's just great to see defenders defending, like as you said, just Pepe and Mbemba at the back, just when they needed to, organizing, putting your body on the line. It's just beautiful to see that when you go down to 10 men and you need your centre backs, you need your leaders to step up, and they really do. But a part two I want to say is that Juventus played pathetically, especially after getting the second goal. And you really should be pushing to take advantage of the 10 men. And Juventus were pathetic in terms of the fact that they didn't. It's like they were just waiting and expecting something to happen, but none of them really wanted to take the risk. Nobody really wanted to put themselves in a firing line of making a mistake, possibly to create a chance. It was just like, you're not supposed to be the best team in Italy, aren't you? Like, try and create. Like, you should be.
I'd say.
Yeah,
Quadrado and Chiesa can keep their head high. They can keep their head high, but so many of that team it looked as if they were just waiting for somebody else to do it. It's not going to be me. It's going to have to be Quadrado. It's going to have to be Chiesa, and that was just horrible to see.
I'd just like to point out that Mbemba in 2016, Mbemba was on that Newcastle team that got relegated. They were in the Champions League and the Euros with Portugal. Now they're on the same team and like putting in a brick wall performance in defense. That's pretty funny to me.
Crazy.
It was a crazy game.
Before we wrap up, 2 yes or no questions. Liverpool through. Can they win the Champions League? Zach?
Yes, because if there's anything that the Champions League has shown us, it's that you can't predict the Champions League.
Thanks.
No, I don't see it. I just don't see it.
Dortmund, can they win the Champions League?
No, I don't think so.
They're going to be fun. They're going to be fun, but
they'll be fun to watch. Hopefully, we get a Dortmund PSG quarterfinals. But yeah, we'll end it there. Zach, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. Pleasure having you on.
Man. Great.
Thanks. Same as always. You can find Zach breaking the lines. We'll have his Twitter at as well there. You can find us at the final third. At Zach Lowy. And us at the final third, the final 3RD _.
Woo!
You are now listening to The Final Third.
I think Pepe's so confident.
Wow, you should be in
Just need to shake him.
You should be in prison. We build you out. We build you out to come and play this season. You're out here disgracing us. You should be in prison. You're facing charges.